Welcome, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Sunday, January 12th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? Oof, first two cards in our, oh my goodness, first two cards. First two cards in our 5-card spread are doozies together. We've got our Strength card in its reversal, in combination with our Fool card in its upright. This is everything. This is the perfect analogy for a lot of this energetic feeling that we're having right now. So again, just walking you guys through it to a certain extent. What are we experiencing? Like last week, I imagine you probably were feeling very blah. You were feeling like a lot of that energetic stillness. We had a lot of that liminal space that we kind of reached coming out of that double void Capricorn new moon. A lot of that feeling of being able to see something, like I'm just getting like a lot of lucidity, like a lot of ability to see something with like a deep sense of clarity. And now it's like all of this like emotion, all of this like this Cancer full moon energy. It's like just filling the liminal space with dreams, with energetic, like with that dreamy Cancerian emotional energy, right? So, and then on top of that, we've got a lot of this Mars in retrograde, which is making the confidence kind of go back and forth. So if you're going, this is why I keep saying right now, if you have something significant, if you're having those like bursts of insight or clarity, or you're working through them, just give yourself a moment with them. Honor one's own energetic space, because this type of energy is absolutely beautiful, right? This type of energy can be beautiful in the realm of setting one's own intention, in building into the context of laying one's own like sense of like intentionality. But at the same time, it can also feel extremely triggering, right? It can feel extremely energetically volatile, because that sense of feeling triggered right now, it's expansive. And I would love to tell you that it's going to settle down, but it's probably going to tick up a bit as we get closer to that full moon energy. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, we are seeing that it is having a different impact, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. And it's also having a big impact depending on where you are on the frequencies. We keep seeing that for a lot of this energy right now, working through this space. This is why for these energies in separation, the energies that are coming together during this, do you see why they are the epitome of courage? Do you see why they are the epitome of of courage? Because this is the space that we keep articulating upon, is like courage has fled the room, right? This is the energy in separation that's finding that energetic courage because they're creating it themselves. And this is the gift that the energy in separation is bringing to one another in the process, right? And that's beautiful about that what is the gift? Not becoming cynical, not assuming or coming into that space or place of assuming that the past is going to energetically repeat itself, because remembering, right? What is the gift of insight that's happening for a lot of that energy in separation, both masculine and feminine? We are only cynical when we ourselves have not changed. That when we navigate circumstances with a different perspective, when we see aspects of the self that we couldn't see before, there is no cynicism. There is no cyclicalness, right? Because that ability of identifying the change and the refinements within the self, this is the gift that the energies in separation are bringing to one another in the process. Now, for feminine energy, a lot of this is embracing and coming into that space of learning how to trust, right? This is the feminine that says, never have I been more courageous. Never have I found more strength than learning to be vulnerable after feeling an energetic wound in the space of my vulnerability, right? Never have I been more vulnerable than those experiences that would have hardened me I allowed myself to remain energetically soft, right? And this is the feminine that embraces and holds that as a point of strength. Now, is that the feminine that comes towards the masculine from a place of just blind energetic trust? Absolutely not. This is the energy that says to themselves that that vulnerability is a gift. And this is the feminine that says the masculine energy that is for me will recognize that as a gift, not an energetic expectation, right? Honoring sacred spaces. What is the masculine doing right now? Masculine, going through that work in separation, working to heal the egoic shield. Masculine, coming into alignment with oneself, saying, when I bring myself forward in authenticity to feminine, I give them the opportunity of loving me there. I create that sacred space within myself. And again, working through the space of remembering that rejection is an illusion, right? Because again, when we hold ourselves sacred, and another person does not see us as sacred, we don't go out of our way much. This is the message that was happening. Do you understand this now? This is the message that was coming through for the energy coming into divine union that's now filtering into the energy in separation, right? If I hold myself as a sacred space and another does not see it as sacred, I do not try to convince them of the sacredness. I simply move away from that does not hold something energetically sacred, right? So a lot of this energy is holding themselves energetically sacred and moving towards one another in that way, which is allowing for a lot of this courage. Because this is the masculine that says, never have I been more courageous than coming towards feminine in my authenticity. Now, for a lot of this energy right now coming into divine union, masculine and feminine, this is why we see even now, I keep on seeing a lot of these feelings of like, it's feeling like energetic surrender, but we need to stress this. The surrender that we're seeing, and surrender, the word surrender is always misconstrued as giving up. Giving up is not the same as surrender, right? This is energy right now that is surrendering to the maturation process that is occurring as they move into divine union. And what happens when we energetically surrender? When we learn something, we don't know what the future holds. When we work through something, we can't see what's on the energetic horizon point. But this is why I see even now like a lot of that energy going through that path work in navigating uncertainty, because this is not the uncertainty that's happening as it relates to the validity or strength of a connection. It has more to do with a lot of this energy having some kind of breakthrough and saying, I've never come this far with another, right? I've never like reached that energetic point. I've never navigated beyond that horizon. But what's beautiful about this is the energy of the coming into divine union that sees that horizon point as the horizon of the self, right? And this is the energy that says to one another, like that sense or that space of moving forward in that directionality. It's like I feel like I can feel like the excitement that takes one's breath away, but also like creates that sense of, again, energetic courage along the way. So this is a lot of that energy that is building into that context of courage with one another in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I just keep seeing that a lot of this work right now has to do with building into the context of setting one's own intention. And I just need to show you again, this is why we see even now that a lot of that energy deep within divine union is still kind of feeling a little bit of like this Cancer full moon really keeps on bringing out a lot of this hermit energy, right? Because these are the energies that are working through that in different ways, right? Masculine, doing things in new ways, taking new approaches. Feminine, recognizing and identifying, working through that process of identifying who they are by working through who I am, who they are not, right? Like there's a lot of that energy here. And that's why we see that, like for some of the feminine energy right now, working through that, like having to navigate some of those triggers, having to navigate some of those vulnerabilities, like all of this is kind of like building into the context of setting one's own energetic conviction. But like a lot of that work, like when we're building into that, like what do we talk about when we talk about having conviction for something? We recognize and identify like what we hold as energetically sacred. So this is the energy that, again, works through the triggers, like works through those moments that feel like they're intentionally energetically triggering, that feel like they like kind of navigate that space of working through those spaces of the self. But what is the gift that the energy deep within divine union holds if you're doing this work? You can see those triggers and you observe them as such and you move through them. Center card for today's spread is one card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. Oh, Knight of Cups in its upright. So I want to stress this. There's a lot, this is like cloud break kind of energy, right? When we create spaces to honor how we feel, we don't necessarily always move in the direction of the emotions, right? That's what we see is happening right now. That's what we see is happening, right? The differentiation, right? Because when we just move via how we feel, that is the ego, right? Like that is the ego, right? The ego, again, it feels good, right? It feels really good when you do something that the emotions want you to do. Right? The emotions are like, like again, like that sense or space. Like again, when we move into those spaces of, again, feeling sorry for ourselves, like dwelling in it. Oh my God, it feels so good. It doesn't do anything. It's indulgent, right? It doesn't allow for it. Like it feels good, right? It feels great, but it does because it like pads the energetic ego. Like it pads the ego. Right? Like when we sit there and we do what the emotions desire us to do, like the ego is like getting energetic treats. You know what I mean? Like it creates that sense. But again, when we honor, instead of just doing what the emotions call for us to do, if we set our intention, if we put those emotions against our intention, we can say to the emotions, I honor the space that you feel the things that you feel. But then I can move through you. I can navigate through. I can honor the fact that I feel that because something's energetic important, but I don't allow the emotions to move us in directions that are oppositional to our energetic pathwork. And the one thing I want to stress right now that everyone has to be conscientious of is if you're experiencing this, if you're feeling like you are the roller coaster, instead of riding the roller coaster, I would not be surprised if you're potentially dealing right now with energy that is just moving in the directionality of what feels good, like what scratches the emotional itch, but one does not necessarily have a logical explanation for, right? Because a lot of this, like that's the thing, like a lot of this emotionality with the Cancer full moon is like, it would feel really good. It would feel really good to do this, but we can become addicted to our emotions just as much as any other substance, right? When we move in that space of indulging the emotions, then that too is also unhealthy. Everything we have is a gift. But again, the recognition of identifying and working through that, this is how we heal. And so again, it's hard right now because a lot of that energy says, I understand, I carry that weight. Right? But again, how do we show strength? Often we show strength by saying to ourselves, yes, I hold emotions towards something because it matters to me. But I move with directionality because I am not prioritizing just the emotions. I look for alignment between what the higher self desires versus the energetic egoic self. Fourth and fifth cards in our 5-card spread for today. 2 cards we got here. Woof, there it is. We've got our 4 of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our Wheel of Fortune in its reversal. You are not the roller coaster. You are on the roller coaster, right? So when we are feeling emotional volatility, right? It's not just that moment that we say, I am the sum of, you are not just the sum of your emotions. Your emotions are a part of you. They are an aspect of you, right? But again, working in that space And again, the thing about this energy right now is I'm telling you right now, if you feel like your head's going this way and your heart's going that way, if you feel like your emotions are like running down the street and your higher self is trying to pull you this way, like we've got a little bit of that yank right now, right? Like you got a lot of that. It's a lot. There's a lot of this, like there's a lot of this energetic yank, but we are strong enough, right? When we build into the understanding of self, right? We don't try to eradicate how we feel. Why would you eradicate something that is a gift that is given to you? It is a blessing to feel, right? You don't just say, oh, I'm going to throw all of my higher self intentions out the window and just go in the direction that my heart calls me to, right? Because that thing, like that thing, like that one was just like whatever, like it's just like it's going all over the place, right? We are the sum of holding those forces together, right? And this is also why we talk about the fact that we don't let go of the energetic ego. You need the ego, like, right? You need that because it is the structure, okay? It is the shape of the self. Okay, so we see that for a lot of this energy working through that, like I want to say, like like it's a lot of that, like, and if it feels like a lot, I love you because it is, because that is what your love is, right? That is the definition of love. It is the amplification of what we feel versus working with intentionality in the direction that we need to move towards. And I'm telling you even now, it's big wave energy. Like if you're feeling this, and I'm telling you right now, I want you to ground yourself right now because it's going to continue to feel like this until we get over like this Cancer full moon energy. Okay. Continuing to get clarification between our strength card and our Fool card, right? And this right here, this is the Mars retrograde that's adding a level of absolute chaos to everything. Because you're like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that. I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that. Everything's going to be amazing. Everything's going to be doomed. Can I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. There it is. You got to ground through this, guys. You got to ground it. I want you to find productive ways. I want you to find productive ways to channel this energy. I want you, if you like to dance, go dance it out. If you like to draw, go draw it out. If you need to write a letter right now, go write a letter. Put it somewhere for a minute that you can sit with it. Because again, it isn't the fact, okay? It isn't the fact that the emotions are trying to energetically mislead you, but the ability to work through, right? The significance of what we emotionally hold, right? How do we find alignment? We recognize what the ego desires and we recognize what the higher self desires. And then we have those moments that we hit those points that someone says, on this we can agree. Right? We are the sum of where our ego and our higher self desire us to go. Sometimes those forces feel oppositional, right? We care about things. We work through this. But again, that sense or space of feeling energetically grounded to a certain extent, this type of energy is beautiful for setting intention, building upon resolve, being like, I feel it because it's important. I feel it because it's heavy. I work through it because it's not trivial, right? But I can also see that some of this energy here is dealing potentially right now around some energies. Like again, what happens when we just allow the emotions to guide us, but we're not able to come into that space of being able to rationalize them? We make no sense, right? Like I said, that's usually the identification point of when the ego is moving to unchecked. Because when we're trying to move in a space that we say, like, we have that ability of doing so, but we're not able to articulate through it, that's usually a good way of being able to calibrate between like the directionality, what the emotions want to do, because it feels good, right? Versus what feels like it's energetically best for us, right? And that's why I'm going to say again, and what's interesting about this caveat is I'm going to say that, again, if you have unhealthy coping mechanisms right now, I do not want you ever coming near them during full, like Cancer full moons or Pisces full moons. But also remembering that the emotions that you cannot explain that you indulge upon can also be addictive, like, because it feels good. It feels good, but it's not helpful, right? That's a little bit of this frustration right now. I just keep seeing a lot of the energy right now, having emotions about something and going, what do I do with this? Like, what do I do with it? Help. I don't know what to do with it. And the last thing we do when we feel like that, because it's far too easy when we've got big emotions that we can't articulate, to try to give them to someone else. Be like, this is your fault. I wouldn't feel like this if you didn't make me feel this. Rah! Right? Like, ooh, I don't want to hold these. So make sure that you're not giving emotions to someone right now like a hot potato. All right, your emotions are not a hot potato. You don't just give them to someone and be like, these are yours and you're responsible for them and how dare you? Like, it's not productive. But I'm telling you right now, the urge to do so has never been so ticked up. Okay? Continuing to get clarification. This is the Fool card, right? Look, the emotions that go wee between our Fool card and its upright and our Knight of Cups and its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification, please. There we go. Yeah, and again, it's hitting us in the vector of relationships. It's hitting us in the vector of relationships. It's a lot of like, I want to get, it's like this clearing off kind of energy, right? It's a little bit of this like, I just want to like, it just feels so good to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's that type of energy. Right? Yeah, I know. Like, it feels good to indulge in those moments that the emotions drive us into directionality. But the thing that you have to ask instead, and this is what's really valuable, and this is why we do this work on the self, we heal so that our love feels like love. When we're in that context of saying, I've got big feelings, and they're your problem, and we call that love, that's not love. Because when we love someone, we try to make things energetically easier for them. We honor each other's pathwork. We come into that space of recognizing and being able to see things from others' perspectives. So that amplification point, that's why I keep seeing even now for a lot of this energy and separation, and I'm going to say this again. I see a lot of this energy right now in separation that may be feeling like they're moving in a directionality and saying, my heart's not in it. To which I'll say, of course your heart's not in it. Why would your heart not, yeah, our hearts frequently exist in the past, right? When we're healing, when we're actively healing, sometimes we have to drag ourselves in the directionality of what we know is best. That's what we talk about with the dark night of a soul. It sucks, right? We're not in love with the future. We're not in love with what we can't see, right? And for a lot of the energy right now in separation, the energy says, I wish for something, but I don't see it. All I have, this is the energy. I see energy going, I'm going to move forward with the feeling in your heart. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because this is the energy that has that affirmation that says, if I feel it, someone else feels it too. You are not exceptional and you are precious. Good news. You are precious. There's no one like you. Good news. You are not exceptional. If you feel it, know that someone else feels it too. You are not alone. So we see even now that this is a lot of the energy, utilizing that conviction. This is the feminine, the energy that says, I know that not all masculine energy is in a space that they're trying to hurt me. I know the healed masculine wants the same things I do. And when I surrender, when I give up, when I say, no, I'm just assuming everything out there is the thing that hurt me, I have given up on my divine masculine counterpart. Because I say, you do not exist. And so it will be. And so it will be because you have given up. So this is the energy that says, I surrender to what the future holds in order to find the thing that is for me, right? And this is a feminine that says, come what may, because this is the energy that says, I know I would not want my counterpart to surrender in that way. I must move in accordance with what I hope to find, because when we have a manifestation goal, we don't just sit home and wish for it. We actively change in the process of pursuing it. And this is the energy of the feminine that says, I'm going to do the hardest thing, which is I'm going to learn to build that trust, to put that point of faith forward. For masculine, a lot of that same work right now. And this is masculine that says, rejection is an illusion. Rejection is an illusion. Why would, and this is the masculine that says, it's not that I'm not going to stop trying to be my highest self, but this is the masculine that says, if I come to feminine in my authenticity and feminine rejects me, then I have shown them something sacred that they do not consider sacred. That is not someone that is in alignment to me. Why would I want to try to build forth in a fake version of self to try to, and this is the masculine that says, you know what, I could have anyone I want. And you can. Great. You can have anyone you want. All you have to do is completely pretend to be someone that you're not. How's that going to feel? We're leaving that type of energy back in Pluto in Capricorn, because Pluto in Capricorn said the ends justify the means. No matter what it takes is what it takes. But Pluto in Aquarius says a good manifestation isn't what you attain. It's how you are and who you are in the process of attaining it. It is what you define yourself to be. You can have anything, but the bigger question you need to ask yourself is, who do you become in the process of achieving it? Continuing to get, and that's why we see even now, this is the energy that's moving into divine union, because this is the energy that says, I move in alignment to you, because I am constantly changing as I move towards you, and every step feels like a procession. Every step feels like a step down the aisle, because this is the energy that says that sacred marriage is not an event. It is a state of being, the state of moving towards your higher self in accordance and in alignment with someone that is in alignment to you. An ever continuing procession of perfection towards who you aspire to be in accordance with someone that walks with you on that energetic journey. And this is why we see that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, you're probably feeling really existential right now. You're probably feeling really existential because a lot of this energy right now is focused upon and building upon that sense of commitment, right? Not knowing what the energetic future holds, but not changing in accordance to it, seeing oneself more clearly throughout it. Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Cups in its upright in combination with our Four of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with the Eight of Wands in its reversal. So for a lot of this energy that we're seeing right now in deep within divine union, I just keep getting a message right now for a lot of the energy in divine union, which has to do with honoring your nope. And I feel like a lot of here's the thing. The reason I keep getting this honoring your nope that keeps on coming through ever since we hit this Pluto in Aquarius energy is, the ego wants the things that the ego wants, and we navigate other people's egos and we navigate all that space. But often this is why I keep seeing that this energy works very hard not to get triggered. Because one way you do not get triggered is you're able to see another with the empathy and recognizing and understanding another person's perspective, right? So we see even now that for a lot of that work, this is why some of this is really frustrating. Because I just keep seeing that something about that right now has to do with working through the faulty perception of others that often kind of see something only from the space of the egoic self, right? I just keep seeing that this is a lot of that energy kind of working through some of those vectors right now. And not allowing oneself to feel energetically triggered. This is the heart of compassion, because we understand and recognize how another feels, but then we also set the energetic boundary in relationality to saying to each other that when we're in a space of energetic healing, we don't drop the emotions on one another like math problems that the other needs to solve, right? We do that internal calculus inside of us and then we present it forward to those around us. So for a lot of the energy right now, this could be working through some of those vectors where another person isn't doing that. And it can feel like an impossibility vector, right? When you're having those type of moments, because, the emotions, articulating how you feel, isn't energetically productive to a certain extent. It feels indulgent, right? It feels helpful. But I just keep on seeing like a lot of that energy processing. I just keep hearing processing, because this is the energy that's like working through a lot of that to a certain extent, and then feeling frustrated when others are not processing their emotions as effectively, right? And that's that moment that you say, it's not that your emotions are not valuable and important, but the question isn't about whether emotions are valuable or important. It's about what can be energetically done with them, right? Well, for the energy right now coming into divine union, this is why I see some of this energy going through some deep heartbreak right now, going through a lot of these spaces and places of having to nurture themselves on the way. And I can see even now some of that energy feeling like they're going through a little bit of this dark night of the soul. Why? Because when we go through a maturation process, why does it often feel like it can be alienating? It feels like it's alienating because our perception has changed in accordance or in alignment with those around us, right? So often we feel very isolated. Welcome to that hermit energy. Welcome to that hermit energy that's now entering the energy coming into divine union, right? The ability to move into the space of perception where we see something in a way others do not see it can feel incredibly isolating, right? Because you cannot give someone the gift of your perception. You can't say like, but you can try to articulate it, you can try to explain it, but this is why we see even now, this is the energy that is experiencing friction outside of partnership in the process of coming into partnership. Another person's skewed perception. This is why the energy says, I wish you well, but then I put energetic distance from you, because that's that moment that when we give someone that compassion of energetic resistance, we say, I hope to see you there when you see what I see, right? Like this is what we say when we go through those maturation processes. This is what happens to us when we're teenagers. This is what happens to us as we move into divine union, which is like, and you get really frustrated because you're like, and then you remember, you go, shoot, I remember when I saw something that way. I remember when I couldn't see something clearly. God, it's like, it drives you nuts, It drives, and that's why I can see even here, I see this energy like at a loss for words over something, because you're like, how do you explain? You can't change someone's perception. I hear the energy going, you just got to be there. You just got to you got to feel it. If you don't feel it, we're not going to be able to have this conversation, right? Well, for a lot of this energy right now, in separation, I just see a lot of this energy in separation that's like, this is the energy that, like, again, this is why some of these partnerships that are forming right now during this time are incredibly strong, because they're feeling the undertow of the emotions that are calling them back to the past in the process. A lot of these emotions that I'm seeing right now for the energy in separation, it's like, it's a lot. Like I told you, it's a combination force of something that feels like an eclipse and a retrograde happening, which is like, my heart is back there. And I can see the higher self being like, yeah, of course it is. You don't know it's that way. Like the energy being like, my heart is back there, and being like, well, yeah, of course. Where else would it live? The heart's always like, sometimes the heart lives in the past. The higher self lives in the present, like in the future. Like and that's why I see even now, like the ego is pulling a lot of the energy in separation, running back to the past, going, we're never going to get something like that again. And the higher self is going, keep walking that way, continuing to get clarification between our Four of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our Wheel of Fortune in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Yeah, if it hurts, it's healing. I know it's, What did you think? You think healing is going to feel good? When have you ever healed and it felt good? When have you ever, I want you to imagine that the emotional and the spiritual space is very much more like the physical space than you give it credit for. When someone says it's healing, when you say to someone, and that's why you can tell when someone's like, how you doing? Oh, it's so good. I'm healing. Are they? Are they? When someone goes, it's amazing, I'm healing. Are they? Healing sucks, okay? It's rough. It's rough on them streets. It is rough on them streets, okay? No, it's going to feel like I told you, welcome to Chiron, wounded warrior. You're like, I'm healing. Like, it stinks. And a lot of this energy right now, this is what I'm telling you, and this is what you got to be careful of. Not that feeling good, not that thing, not that little voice inside you that says, you know what would make you feel really good right now? You know what would make you really heal? You know what would make you really heal? If you did that, oh my gosh, that would make you feel so good right now, wouldn't it? And you know what your higher self is saying? You know what your higher self is saying? Healing does not feel good. Healing does not feel good. Healing breaks your heart, right? You got to heal. It's going to break your heart in the process. And I feel like a lot of that message coming through is remembering the side of the ego that says that you're doing something because you're healing, right? You're doing something because you're having that sense or you're having that space, right? And we're all feeling that, being like, oh, versus what the higher self says. It says the difference in healing is often it moves us in the directions that are hard to move towards, right? The higher self says, yeah, I know that would feel good. You can see that it'll feel good. Let's honor the space of feeling that. Let's move through the energetic emotions, but allowing that intentionality to guide oneself forward, right? Right? Navigating that volatility. This is how we heal. And that's happening across all of the frequencies. And I see for a lot of this energy in separation, I can see a lot of this energy in separation saying, I have to move in this direction. My heart's not in it, right? I have to move in this direction and I can't see the outcome. And what is the higher self saying? When we're moving towards a manifestation goal, it always feels to a certain extent like we are stumbling around in the dark, because why would we be able to see the thing that we're moving towards, right? We have to navigate that internal work. We set our energetic intention, not about how we feel. We hold the feeling sacred and we carry it with us as we proceed. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, I see all this energy saying, you know, if that's that modality where they're experiencing another, bringing something forth only, I keep on hearing, you come to me today on the day of my, like on the day of a lot of this energy, having that moment, right? A lot of that feeling that almost takes our breath away. Because again, when we move into divine union, we don't do so for effect. We don't do so to bring about change outside of partnership. We do so because we're energetically affected. And so we see even now, if there's a lot of that feeling here, it's emotional, right? It's a hurdle. And so I see even now like that frustration. And this is why these partnerships that are moving deeper into divine union right now are Capricorn partnerships. Because if this is the energy that has been working, this is the energy, I keep on hearing this energy saying to someone, you don't seem to understand. This is not energy that says we're moving something into a deepening degree of partnership to fix it. I told you, this is Capricorn partnerships have been healing since all the way back during the eclipse process. This is the energy that says it's already done. It's already done. We are already, like this is the energy that says we are already in energetic alignment. It's not conditional as it relates to what's happening around something, right? So we see even now that for a lot of that energy doing though, it's bittersweet, because this is the energy that feels like that sense of isolation that comes forward is seeing others that do not have the same perception as you, right? Working in that pathwork of wisdom. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, it's having to navigate. Like I want to say, like a little bit of this is like, it feels it feels unhelpful. Like that's the thing with some of the energy deep within divine union navigating. You can see all of the work that this is having right now across the other frequencies. For the energy deep within divine union, it just feels it's not ideal. It's not ideal. It's like the energy is like not ideal, but this is that affirmation of saying that when we're moving in with intention, it's never ideal, right? Nothing is ever ideal. But we continue, we persevere forward, continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our Lover's card. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with High Priestess in its upright. There are some, wow, this is like, there's some big, big cards out today, man. These are like, again, and this is what I keep seeing. Honoring the solution here if you're feeling a lot of these emotions right now. Because listen, like the emotions are not trivial. We don't just ignore them. The emotions have something valuable to say. But what do we do? Like, what do we do, much like anything, when we have a lot of big emotions on something? We hear them out, right? Like, we hear out, we listen. We listen to what the emotions want to say to guide our navigation, because this is what we're seeing here with this Fool card. The emotions are like, look, like we've got it here. I need to show you this. You know, like we got the emotions that want to go, like, again, the wave wants to, like, the emotions are like, whoa, I want to go this way. Right. And it's not, and I got to say this right now. And this is what is important. Right. And I'm sorry, I can't give you guys like a full answer because I already know, like, oh, should I follow the emotions? Listen, it's a collective for a reason. Okay. Like, it's a collective for a reason. It's not a one patch system. You have to say to oneself, not what direction. Okay. Not what direction that the emotions are trying to guide you in. What are the emotions trying to tell you, right? What are the emotions trying to tell you? Because when we sit with our emotions, we can determine what the emotions are trying to say. And the emotions are often trying to say lots of different things. It's complicated, right? But this is how we do the internal math of navigating the internal complication, right? To figure out, to determine what is energetically best. So I'm not saying right now not to follow your emotions. Do you understand? But I'm saying talk. If the emotions cannot clarify, what they're ideally moving towards, that's probably a sign that it is the energetic ego and not the higher self. Because again, the higher self always says, I have like I have a destination. I know the directions. Like the higher self is like and so it's very easy right now to get caught in like this is the energy being like, I want, like the emotions are like, I want to go here. And the higher self is going, we are on a schedule. we are on a journey, like we are getting somewhere, like that work that we do. And it's going to be different for everyone, right? It's going to be different for everyone because there's a lot of nostalgia here that's coming into play. And that has to do with, again, this is the energy that feels like the combination force of an eclipse and a full moon. And a retrograde at the same time. Now, continuing to get clarification. And look at this. I need to show you, though. Look at these energies that are coming together in partnership right now. Do you see this? Feminine. Honoring the path. Holding the emotions that they feel for the past energetically sacred, but not allowing it to cloud their own perception on what they desire in partnership. Right? Masculine. Coming towards feminine in a state of authenticity, as difficult as this is. The gift that the masculine is bringing towards feminine is their authenticity. Again, doing something hard. Why? For an authentic energetic connection. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between. And both of these energies navigating the force that says in their heart, go back! Like, no! Oh, everything we wanted is in the past! I'll never have that again! I'll never have that thing that hurt me again! Right? Continuing to get clarification between our Lover's card in its upright in combination with our Eight of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through with our King of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, there's like grounding. Everybody ground today, okay? Because it's going to get, like here's the thing. We anchor ourselves through our emotions with our intentions, right? And that is not to say, right? That's why I can't, I'm not going to give this reading where I say, do this or do that. There's never, like we do not, like we come towards navigating and recognizing and navigating that space. So I feel like there's a lot of this energy right now, and I need to stress this. This is why for these partnerships that are forming during this is why this is coming through as warrior energy, because I want to show you this right now. Look at the confidence of self that we see between masculine and feminine right now. Do you see this? Do they feel like this inside? No. This is what they appear. This is what they appear as, right? This is what they appear as. But this is what we see is actually happening, right? Do you see this here? This is what they feel like on the internal vector. I'm going to show you guys these cards, okay? This is the feminine that feels like they're stepping off of a cliff. They're walking blindly into the future. What does the feminine appear as? The feminine that knows the direction. They know what direction their heart guides them, even across their emotions, right? So we see even now that internally it feels like this. Internally, the feminine's like, I don't know what I'm doing. What does the masculine see? That's a feminine that knows what she wants. That's a feminine that knows which directionality they're moving towards. And this is a feminine goes, I have no idea what I'm doing, right? Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. What does it feel like with the masculine? Look at this, masculine. This is ridiculous. I feel like such a sap. I feel like I'm going to just put my heart on my sleeve. I'm just going to come to feminine and be emotionally honest. What does the feminine see? That is the strongest man I've ever met. Oh my God. That masculine is the most secure, stable masculine I have ever encountered, right? This is what it feels like. This is what it appears as. The way we feel is not how we appear. And when we're doing that work properly, it often appears that what we're doing is counterintuitive to how we're feeling. Welcome to the full moon in Cancer. Continuing, doesn't feel like it. Yeah, it never does. It never feels like it when you're embodying something, right? Continuing to get clarification between our 8 of Wands in its reversal and our 9 of Swords in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Ace of Swords in its upright. Right? I'm telling you right now, these partnerships that are coming together right now, this is why these partnerships are warrior energy. Right? Because I even see, wow. And what is this energy saying right now? Makes it look easy. Makes it look effortless. Right? Have you ever done when you're able to do something effortlessly, usually what is an indication of? How do you do it? Lots of work. Right? Lots of work, right? This is the masculine that says it takes a lot more. Takes so much work to be that vulnerable. All it takes is everything. Feminine, what does it take to be that energetically strong? It's really easy. You just got to feel like you're stepping over a cliff every moment, right? This is the energy that says all it takes is everything, right? And that's why this energy right now is warrior energy, because this is the energy that says all it takes is everything, right? Masculine and feminine right now, deep coming into divine union. This is the energy that's matured, right? This is the energy coming into that space or place of identifying. And this is the energy that recognizes how much they themselves have changed. This is the energy of the feminine coming into divine union, feeling that, looking back on the past version of self and saying to themselves in some ways, wow, I could not see it back then. Like, right? Like this is a lot of that energy honoring that journey. And this is the energy potentially dealing with someone outside of something and saying, I remember too when I was in that modality where I felt that way, right? Holding that gentle compassion. Masculine, same exact thing. Coming into divine union, seeing others being like, what are you doing? Right? Oh, you've gone soft. Oh, you've given up. And this is masculine going, they don't see things yet. Just give it time. This is the energy going, give it time. You'll see something different. So, and for a lot, and this is the energy that does not try to change another's perception. If you see the fact that they're not in the same space as you, you honor where they are on their journey. Love is honoring each other's journeys, right? Continuing to get clarification for a lot of this energy deep within divine union. I just see a lot of energy right now building upon conviction. Right? And what do we talk about when we talk about energetic conviction? It's not ideal, but it never is, right? So a lot of that work we see even now, this is the energy that allows themselves the opportunities to feel those vulnerabilities, to feel those frustrations, to feel those weaknesses. I see the energy of giving themselves like a lot of breaks right now. But then just building into that sense of becoming more focused as a result. Continuing to get clarification between our High Priestess in its upright in combination with our King of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Magician in its reversal. So here's the thing, and I gotta say this right now. You know what's beautiful about this is, for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, there's a lot of this work in navigating what is within one's own energetic power to change versus what is outside of one's own power to accept. But I need to stress this right now. This goes far beyond that, because this is, again, a lot of that work that we see, that shift out of Pluto and Capricorn into Pluto and Aquarius. Like, I see a lot of that energy like working through those moments or working through those energetic triggers in terms of recognizing and identifying. Like when we have those moments, you know, and this is the Mars retrograde. It shakes our own confidence, right? It shakes our own courage. But this is how we generate courage for ourselves, right? Because we don't move in the directionality of fear, right? We stand strong in the face of it, right? And that doesn't mean, right? That doesn't mean that we push our fears aside. We don't ignore them. We don't say, if I don't think about it, it'll go away, right? We work in that context of, again, identifying and recognizing and saying to ourselves what feels helpful, what feels energetically productive, what feels like there's something here that can be energetically worked through versus what feels like it is not something that is within one's own purview to change or accommodate for, right? This is how we find strength, not just, again, by doing anything, right? Not just doing anything, just following, like allowing for a lot of our emotions to run unchecked, right? And moving the directionality of that, but remembering that ability of identifying and recognizing ourselves, this is who we are, right? And so I feel like a lot of that energy right now, and this is where I see some of the masculine and feminine coming into alignment to a certain extent. This is the energy that works through those vulnerabilities deep within divine union and feels energetically reaffirmed in that journey, because this is the energy that says that moving deeper into partnership feels like that moment, or like a healthy partnership feels like you are finding yourself more and more every step of that journey, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, a lot of this energy coming into divine union right now, this is why I see the energy holding shared grief. If there's someone or circumstances wherein others do not see how sacred an energetic connection is, because this is the energy that says, I hope the day comes that they can see that something was not done for effect. It was done because one is energetically affected, right? Those moments or those experiences that we navigate, it's like this is the energy that, again, wishes someone well along that journey. But again, that is the energy doing so out of the deepest sense of compassion because that is the energy that says, I hope the day comes that you understand. I hope the day comes that you experience it as well, right? A lot of that gentle, new forms of compassion, as it were. Continuing to get clarification for the energy in separation. This is the energy feeling the heavy weight of the past right now. Okay? For a lot of this energy in separation, this is a lot of energy that feels like they're carrying a lot of that weight of the past, may feel like it's gotten much heavier right now. But this is the energy that says the weight of the past, the emotions of the past does not change the circumstances of the past. This is a lot of the energy that just feels like it's harder to move with intention towards what it is that one knows is for them, because the emotions are such that they feel like they're moving counter oppositional to the direction that you desire to move towards. Continuing to get clarification between. But this is a lot of the energy that says, honoring how one feels, it hurts, but this is how we heal. Continuing to get clarification between our King of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our Ace of Swords in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Star card in its reversal. So I just need to show you this right now. Okay, I need to show you the beauty of this, because I told you there's a different, like what we're recognizing that's happening so much for a lot of this energy that we're experiencing is the difference between inhabiting a modality on the external versus what it feels like to embody it. Welcome to Pluto in Aquarius, right? Because for a lot of the feminine energy, I literally see the feminine energy right now in separation that says, I feel very vulnerable, right? This is the feminine that moves towards masculine in separation and goes, I feel very vulnerable. I feel like I'm moving into this space where I was initially harmed, right? But this is the feminine that says, I'm utilizing those wounds as a map, right? I'm not going to move towards you already feeling prepared to be wounded. This is the energy that says those wounds are not wounds. They become sacred because they become a map. Let the wounds I experience light the way. Let the wounds that I experience light the way of my insight. Let the wounds that I experience become the map of clarity to help me discern what is for me to energetically trust versus what is not. This is the energy that says, I take those flaws and I turn them into facets. I embrace those experiences and I let them serve as energetic lessons that guide me forward. And this is the masculine that sees the feminine in this modality and says, this is someone that knows who they are, right? This is the energy of the feminine that embraces those experiences and does not run from shame, but honors that journey, right? And this is the masculine that says to the feminine, right? Again, I am releasing the shame of the self. I am releasing the rejection that I often feel. I recognize that rejection is an illusion. That when I move towards you and I'm not my authentic self, I prevent the ability of building a healthy partnership with you. I am doing this work. I am embracing my flaws as facets. It does not mean that I am always right. It does not mean that I'm energetically perfect. This is the masculine that says, I am a work in progress, and I recognize that the energetic counterpart for me will see that work in progress as a masterpiece. I come towards feminine in that authenticity, feeling I'm not done yet. This is a masculine that says, I'm not done yet, but I'm trying to embrace the fact that I will never feel done. I'm energetically perfect in that space. And what does the feminine see? That's a perfect masculine right there. Why? Because that is a masculine that can see themselves. Never do I feel more safe than a masculine that can see themselves clearly. While for a lot of this energy right now, coming into divine union, this is the energy that says, I hope they see something someday the way that I do. I hope the day comes that they can identify and recognize and feel that space. Because this is the energy that, again, reaffirms that commitment and, again, sees something outside of partnership that reminds them of something they experienced before they had what they had created with another, right? While for masculine and feminine right now, deep within divine union, I just see that a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, is working through, like this is some old stuff right here, This is just some old stuff. like I just keep seeing a lot of energy right now in divine union, being like, what do I do with all this old stuff? What do I do with all of this old stuff? Welcome to Pluto and Aquarius. What do I do with all this old stuff? Where do I put it? Where does it go? But again, this is a lot of the energy saying, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna work with it. Final call right now. Final card between our Magician card in its reversal in combination with our Star card in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with, again, what do we do with old stuff? We do something energetically productive with it. We do something energetically productive with it. So I feel like there's a lot of this energy right now deep within divine union that's like having a lot of these like emotions coming through, especially from the past. And like it's like it's a lot of that, oh gosh, moving it into something that feels energetically productive, right? Like, boom, okay, where are we going to put that? So there's a lot of that type of energy here. And a lot of it, like, I just keep getting processing. Like, there's a lot of this, like, energy deep within divine union that's going through a lot of processing right now. But again, that's why, like, working through that, even in those moments that another person, and this is why it's like there's a lot of a compassion that's coming through right now. Now, for a lot of the energy deep with it coming into divine union, this is also a lot of this energetic compassion, because when we're navigating maturation processes and another person is taking it personally, someone else is taking that process personally, again, this is the energy goes, I remember the day when I also did that, right? I too used to take other people's path work personally. Like, I can see a lot of this energy being like, I remember, like this is the energy that like looks at something, and what is this energy doing if they're experiencing that? Are they letting themselves get triggered? Are they like, indulging in that energetic space? No, this is the energy that goes, what would I, like, I see the energy going, what would I have desired? Like, there's a lot of this compassion that's occurring here, that I see that a lot of the Capricorn partnerships that are moving deeper into divine union is doing, in terms of recollecting what one felt and trying to do what one feels is energetically best, right? It's hard though, because sometimes that level or point of compassion, another might not see it. And I can see someone being like, I hope the day comes that you see something as compassion, right? It's like, oh, like that's a problem. When you're in a space of maturation, you're like, oh, you're not, but I hope the day comes that you do, right? Well, for a lot of this energy right now, for a lot of this energy in separation, it took, what does it take? Wow, look at this energy meeting each other. How do you, like, look at this energy saying, like, this is feminine articulating to masculine about all of those experiences wherein they've been energetically hurt, right? And what does the masculine say to the feminine? How do you still trust? And the feminine says, it's easy. It just takes everything, right? Like, it's easy. It just takes everything. This is what compassion is, right? This is the feminine says, yes, in order to trust after my trust is broken, it takes everything, right? And this is the masculine that comes towards feminine. The feminine sees the masculine and says to the masculine, how do you come forward so authentic? How do you see yourself so clearly? How do you observe that? How do you observe that in others? What does the masculine say to feminine? I do it for you. I do it for us. This is how we heal. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now is 9 of Wands in its upright. And I got to tell you guys, this card has been sticking to the bottom of the deck for over a week. Like, I believe, it It was not our bottom of the deck yesterday, but honestly, we had a 9 of Pentacles. We had a 9 of Pentacles yesterday. Excuse me, confirmation. We had a 9 of Pentacles yesterday, bottom of the deck. So there's a lot of this, like, and I told you, this is the Mars retrograde energy. Okay, so, and this is, okay, I want you to go find anyone you know with Mars placements, okay? If you've got this feeling right now that feels like there is like an army just waiting on the other side of the hill, if you have this feeling that you're like, why is it so quiet? Why do I feel like a shoe is about to drop? Why am I waiting for a piano to fall out of the sky? Okay, I would like to remind you right now that that is how anyone with Aries placements feel. And that's why, and everybody with Aries placements right now is like, what the heck has gotten into everybody? Why is everybody acting like a fool? Because everybody is acting right now like Aries, because they all feel like Aries, because the work that everyone's doing with Mars out of the room is requiring everyone to feel the way Aries feel every single day of their life, which is why anyone with Aries placements right now is going, what the heck has gotten into everybody? I feel relatively calm. And everybody else is like, like going bonkers, right? Because this is how, and this is why I want you to go find someone with Aries placements and be like, buddy, I didn't know. I didn't know. Because Aries are like, and I'm going to tell you right now, all the Aries are like, no, we always feel like this. Right? Right. Baby, no, that's a special Aries thing. Yep, I know. Yeah, the whole time. No, that's a special Aries thing that just you get. Aren't you lucky? So don't move from a space of anxiety. Talk to the anxiety. Again, now's a good time. And I like to point this out. This is how we navigate fear. We don't ignore fear, right? Fear is that like creepy little kid that's got something cool that's like very important to say every now and then. But sometimes like it tugs on your shoulder and you're like, ah! Like it scares you. You're like, what are you doing here? And you're like, I made you this. And you look at it, you go, buddy, wow, why? Why would you make this? And you go, okay. And he goes, you go, okay, listen, we're going to put this on the special gallery. We're going to put a note here, right? Okay, we're going to make, no, this one's just for us. This one's just for us, just for you and me, our special gallery, right? And then sometimes, you get that little tug and the fear goes, I made you this. You go, oops. And then you look at it, you go, actually, that's avoidable. That is a note. You know what? We can do something about that. Thank you, fear. That is a very good note. We will take this one upstairs. Okay. But you have to, in order to do that, you got to be able to face your fear, right? You got to be able to navigate through it. So I want you to think about that right now. I don't want you, and again, what do we talk about when we say embrace, and don't misunderstand me. What do we talk about when we say embracing our fear? That doesn't mean we run full tilt into it. Okay? It doesn't mean that you run you don't go, ooh, the fear. No. You hold it. You address it. You talk to it. You say, what are you trying to tell me? What is reasonable that we can act upon versus what is unnecessary, right? That is how that's what we mean when you say embrace the fear. It doesn't mean go throw yourself into a volcano. Okay? It doesn't mean moving in the directionality of it means having a healthy conversation with yourself as it relates to the things that you are afraid of, to recognize what feels like it is valuable versus what feels like the drive that goes into has a lot of ideas, a lot of that, right? So again, we work in that space right now, and that is how we heal. We hold that space of compassion. That is our daily. And if someone else is coming towards you in that way, I like to point out, healthy energetic fears usually have an explanation, right? I told you the higher self always has a good, is always happy to talk. The ego is because we can, right? Right? That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can give. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the strength card. Our next tarot class is next week on Wednesday, January 15th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Hermit card. I'm so excited to be able to teach this card. It is a fascinating card. We are going to talk about the symbology of that card, the history of the card. We're going to talk a bit about spread applications, how you can read for that card in any direction it appears in your spreads. I will also be showing you guys a unique spread that channels the energy of the Hermit into a reading. And all you need to do if you would like to become a part of that class program is head over and become a paid subscriber to my Substack, gracestrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access as a subscriber to the Tarot Church Library, which currently contains over 9 hours worth of material that is available to you as a subscriber. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I will be giving, or to ingest all of that. I will be giving a recap in every class on everything that we've studied thus far, but the material is there for you to receive when you are ready to receive it. You'll also have access to one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied thus far or anything that we're currently learning. And you will also, if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you're already joining us there, and I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings and services. And I post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. Also, if you are a subscriber over on TikTok, I would encourage you to head over to our subscriber-only Discord channel, because there you will find a very special coupon code that will give you an additional discount to those Substack subscriptions. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to announce that we're now offering as well dream interpretation packages. If you are someone who has a lot of dreams and would like those dreams interpreted, you can purchase those dream interpretations as individual readings or as a series. So we will meet weekly with your dream journal, and we will interpret the messages that are coming through in those dreams. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. And we will do this again